We celebrate success without envy. This takes some real maturity. When one of your brothers does really great at sports or a class or something like that, if you can have genuine joy for them as opposed to feeling envious, that's another litmus test we look for in a high-performance friendship. Sustainable in spite of distance or time. And that'll be a key thing that will happen. One of the great things about having something like a fraternity, which I didn't have, I'll explain a little bit about that in a moment. I have put a lot of PhD students through, and one of our goals was to have, oh, there it is, my first John. Thank you very much. Give me a little fist bump there. Good job. What was to have one of our graduates in every major city in the world. It's really nice if you can know a Theta Chi in every major city in the world. So if you're in town, you have someone to visit with or do you a favor or help you out. No disparaging remarks, and this is a real key thing. If you were to tell me that my friend, like John Vaughter, had said something bad about me behind my back, I wouldn't believe you. I think you either misunderstood them or you were just making it up. Because John and mine's relationship involves telling each other first if there's an issue that concerns us about them. And so it's always easier to talk badly about someone's back behind their back than to tell it to their face, isn't it? So we can construct the tools for doing that. And you just got one. Do you have any suggestions for me? Then that opens the door for you to give suggestions for them. Follow that? But it's real tempting. Gossip is just one of the most vicious things that destroy relationships. Nothing hurts a relationship more than to hear from someone else what someone said behind your back, right? That really stings. Few friendships would survive if each knew what his friend says of him behind his back. Think about that. Even my wife and I have to admit, if our kids heard some of the things we said about them, we'd be in trouble with them. But, you know, that's kind of a litmus test you can think. I'm about to say something to Michael about Brian here. I need to really think that through. All that. Because if there's any chance, you know, Michael's going to tell Brian, that's going to destroy a relationship. You cover it to be good. If it's very painful for us to criticize our friend, it's safe to do. If we ever take any joy, the slightest pleasure in it, that's the time to hold your tongue. That really tests your motivation. If it hurts you, but you need to tell him this because it's an issue, right? Like, I didn't want to tell John, he kind of sounded like a preacher over there, buddy. I didn't want to tell him that. But I thought I owe him that because he'll hear it on the tape and he'll say, why didn't you tell me? Follow that? Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to just break this down into different categories, and what we're taking from the book, the architecture of the book was to find the best quote we could on a particular construct, such as choosing a friend. And then in the book we give you, explain what we mean by the construct, we give you some secular examples of that, we kind of take a look at how Christ dealt with those types of things, and then we just try to come to some principles. So what we're going to do is take a look at the concept, look at the quote, and I'm going to just share a few stories with you. And I want you to be thinking about stories that you would tell that would fit that construct, okay? First one is choosing a friend. It's the most precious of all possessions, and often one of the things we take the least thought about acquiring. Okay? I'm going to tell you an embarrassing story about myself. When I was, just before I was able to drive, and I was finishing my last year of junior high, didn't have transportation, had a next door neighbor, he was a year younger than I was. His name was Charlie. And Charlie and I started hanging out together and doing things. And he's a nice guy. He wasn't cool. And he wore T-shirts that looked like Charlie Brown. He had these Boy Scout shoes that he wore that had a double toe on them and stuff like this. But he was my next door neighbor, and I liked him. And we were good friends. And we hung out all summer. September's coming, and we're going to be going back to school. So guess what my concern is? Shallow person that I am.
Looking cool.
He's going to want to hang out with me once we get to school, and I'll be hanging out with the 9th graders, and here will come Charlie, and he'll have on uncool clothes, and this is going to really be bad for my rep. So what I did was, we choose and we unchoose friends. I decided to unchoose them for all the wrong reasons. And so I came up with something to argue about, and told them we weren't friends anymore. And that way he wouldn't be bugging me at school. You follow that? We're very transparent in this book, I'll tell you. And so Charlie, I remember Charlie looking at me, he was the nicest person. He just looked me in the eye and said, we're not friends anymore over that. And it finally hit me what I was doing. And so I said, this just isn't right. And I apologized and just said, no, we're good. Are you open to suggestions in your wardrobe? And so it turned out he hated his clothes. His mom bought his clothes, it ticked him off, but so she caught us out in the backyard, kicking the crap out of trees and rocks to wear his shoes out, so she'd have to get him some new shoes. But she was a neat mom. She kind of figured out what was going on, so we got Charlie some new clothes, and everything. We moved on. We were friends. You know what's interesting? I just about threw that friendship away, and this is something to think about when you're pledging people. I just about threw that friendship away because I thought it might hurt my reputation with certain people. Those other people I'm concerned about, I don't even hardly know where they are today. Charlie has been a lifetime friend. He's my accountant. He does my taxes every year. But it's interesting. Before I use the story in the book, when you use a story like that, you always tell someone, I want to use the story, I want to say it's you, and are you okay with that? He didn't even remember the story. He didn't remember that happening. And, but I asked him, because I was coming here to talk, I said, Charlie, I'm going to be coming and talking to some fraternity brothers. I remember you were in a fraternity. And what happened to me, I'll back up. I was a rock musician, and I decided to, my parents didn't approve of it beyond high school, and so I decided I was on my own. And so when I went to college, I had that type of pressure going on me. But I actually did go to the SAE house and check out. And they were excited to get me because I was a computer guy. And the conversation became very clear to me. They just wanted me to help them with their computer homework. It wasn't the type of thing you got at all. And so I said, I don't have time to do all their homework and have a job, which I went to the computer center, and go to school. So I decided not to do anything with the fraternity. But I asked Charlie, because Charlie and I are lifetime friends. I said, Charlie, you went to a different school and you did do the fraternity thing. How has that affected you? And he said, the big fraternity, probably 200 people passed through my life during the 4 years I was in college. He said, and I'm not close to all of them. He said, but there's 3 of them I give my life for. So I have this gap. I don't have a single friend from college because I work full-time, went to school full-time, got friends from high school. I've got a lot of great professional friends, but I lost that opportunity during that 4-year period, actually 5 years because I was working, getting through college. And so it was kind of an interesting conversation for me to realize he had gotten that from college where I had not. Anyway, because of the rock band, once everyone did start to go to college initially, I decided, Charlie was a year younger, so he wasn't going to college. The other guys in the band were all my age. I decided if I went to college with them, I would flunk out. And so I unchose all of them as friends for that period. They all flunked out, by the way. And school worked out for me. Charlie did fine when he got into school. And then I did actually become a rock musician again after my first year, and I realized I could do it. I was always better at the business side of it than the music side, but it was a good experience. But those are childhood experiences. Let me give you an adult one. When I first became a professor at the University of Houston, I was a brand new assistant professor, and my career got going real well. The top school in my particular field was Minnesota. Is anyone from Minnesota in here? Minnesota? Okay. Top school in MIS. Okay. So I had a chance to go there. So someone who I thought was my friend, I talked to him about the opportunity. And he actually did everything he could to discourage me. He would say things like, you're doing real well, Houston. You've got some books published, and you've got some good research published. But, Minnesota's the big leagues. You may not do so well up there. He was trying to frighten me out of the opportunity. And I was just smart enough to figure out that's what he was doing. that he really, because one of the characteristics of a friend is they help you grow. He wasn't trying to help me grow or meet a challenge. He was trying to talk me out of an opportunity, all that. And I actually unchose him as a friend as a result of that. We just didn't stay close after I obviously I did go on to Minnesota. It's been 20 years there.